In today's video we will discuss the top 10 NFL scouting combine stars who went on to be busts. You don't want to miss this. Number 10. Tim Tebow. Position, quarterback. Draft. He had a memorable season in 2011, during which he led Denver on a series of come-from-behind wins and engineered an overtime triumph over the Pittsburgh Steelers in an AFC wildcard game. However, in 2012 the Broncos traded Tebow to the New York Jets after signing Peyton Manning. He attempted just 8 passes while with the Jets, and after failed preseason stints with the New England Patriots and Philadelphia Eagles, Tebow turned his attention to television and becoming a pro baseball player. Number 9. Bruce Campbell. Position, offensive tackle. Draft, 2010, Round 4, number 106 overall. Selected by Oakland Raiders. It might seem a bit odd to list a player who was a 4th-round pick among mostly high selections, but that is the sort of company Campbell thrust himself into after one of the more impressive combine efforts in recent memory. The 6'6", 314-pounder blazed a 4.85-second 40-yard dash time. The Maryland product also had 34 reps of 225-pound on the bench press and a 32-inch vertical. His performance thrust him into the first-round conversation. To their credit, the Raiders waited until the 4th round. Campbell played in just 14 games for Oakland and didn't make a single start. Number 8. Stephen Hill. Position, wide receiver. Draft, 2012, Round 2, number 43 overall. Selected by New York Jets. Hill played in an option offense while at Georgia Tech, so he entered the draft doing so as an early entry, as well raw and inexperienced as a passing game component. What Hill did possess was speed. He had 4.36 speed in the 40, and the Jets hoped that would open up their offense. In his 2 seasons in New York, the team's offense ranked 30th and 25th in total yards. Hill combined for 594 yards and 4 touchdowns in those 2 seasons, and his career was over in 2016. Number 7. Chris Henry. Position, running back. Draft, 2007, Round 2, number 50 overall. Selected by Tennessee Titans. The lowdown, he posted less than impressive numbers during his 4 seasons at Arizona, never rushing for more than 600 yards in a year and only scoring 9 touchdowns with a 3.3 yards per carry average. Still, a stellar combine workout highlighted by a 4.4 40 time can change minds quickly. Henry played in just 11 games with no starts in a 4-year NFL career, rushing for 122 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns. Number 6. Aaron Curry. Position, linebacker. Draft, 2009, Round 1, number 4 overall. Selected by Seattle Seahawks. He was considered an elite prospect heading into the combine. Curry solidified that lofty perch by running a 4.56-second 40 and posting a 37-inch vertical. The Wake Forest standout became the highest drafted linebacker since LeVar Arrington went number 2 overall in the 2000 draft. Curry played in 30 games in his first 2 seasons but rarely made an impact. By 2011, his draft bust status was nearly complete after he lost his starting job to KJ Wright and was shipped to the Raiders in exchange for a 7th-round pick. Number 5. Darius Hayward-Bay. Position, wide receiver. Draft, 2009, Round 1, number 7 overall. Selected by Raiders. No franchise has been more romanced by prospects with blazing speed than the Raiders. Of the 14 players with the fastest 40 times at the Combine since 2006, 4 were drafted by the Raiders: Hayward-Bay, Jacoby Ford, DeMarcus Van Dyke, Tyven Branch. Hayward-Bay was a relatively unspectacular prospect coming out of Maryland, where he decided to forego his senior season. That move paid off handsomely. Hayward-Bay's 4.3-second 40 time boosted his draft stock, and the Raiders picked him over more heralded receivers such as Michael Crabtree and Jeremy Maclin. Hayward-Bay lasted 4 seasons with the Raiders, collecting 11 touchdown passes and 2,071 yards receiving. Number 4. Mike Mamula. Position, defensive end/linebacker. Draft, 1995, Round 1, number 7 overall. Selected by Philadelphia Eagles. Mamula is the cautionary tale for putting too much stock in a combined performance. Turn back the clock to 1995, and it was rare that a draft prospect trained specifically for the combine's drills. But such preparation paid off tremendously for Mamula, who had a 38.5-inch vertical, ran a 40 that was extremely fast for his position, a reported 4.58 seconds, and had more bench press reps than the top offensive tackle in the draft, Tony Boselli. These numbers helped convince the Eagles to make an aggressive move to get Mamula, trading up 5 spots from number 12 to number 7 overall with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 5 picks after the Eagles selected him, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took future Hall of Famer Warren Sapp. Number 3. Matt Jones. Position, wide receiver. Draft, 2005, Round 1, number 21 overall. Selected by Jacksonville Jaguars. He played quarterback at Arkansas, and even once held the Southeastern Conference's record for rushing yards by a quarterback, later surpassed by Tebow. Jones' athleticism prompted a position switch to help his draft status. At 6'6", he ran a sub 4.440. Mesmerized by a target with that enticing stature and speed combination, the Jags picked Jones, who was off the board 6 spots before the Atlanta Falcons took Roddy White in 3 selections before Aaron Rodgers fell to the Green Bay Packers. Jones lasted 4 seasons in Jacksonville, starting 15 games and catching 166 passes for 2,153 yards and 15 touchdowns. In 2009, Jacksonville had had enough of Jones' off-field troubles and released him. Number 2. Troy Williamson. Position, wide receiver. Draft, 2005, Round 1, number 7 overall. Selected by Minnesota Vikings. After trading Randy Moss to the Raiders, the Vikings were desperate to replicate that vertical threat in their offense. Williamson was fast, 4.32 second 40, but he caught a bad case of the dropsies. He failed to hang on in Minnesota, lasting just 3 seasons and catching 79 passes on 167 targets for 3 touchdowns. He was unceremoniously shipped to the Jaguars in 2008 in exchange for a 6th-round pick. Number 1. Vernon Gholston. Position, defensive end. Draft, 2008, Round 1, number 6 overall. Selected by New York Jets. He came out of Ohio State with all of the measurables that teams seek: size, speed, length, strength. But Gholston was raw and inexperienced. The 6'4", 258-pound physical specimen was impressive at the combine: 4.67 second 40, 35.5-inch vertical, 37 reps of 225 pounds on the bench, and New York was smitten, burning a top 10 selection on a player who would start just 5 games and record no sacks over 3 seasons with the team. I hope you enjoyed our top 10 NFL scouting combine stars who went on to be busts.